Hello everyone, my name is John Bussart. I'm an HP Solution Center engineer for Ingram Micro. I help support servers, blade systems, storage, as well as networking technology solutions from HP. In this series of videos, we're exploring the HP ConvergedSystem 250HC based on StoreVirtual technology. This is a Hyper-Converged platform, and with this 2U enclosure, you get everything that you need to have a 3 or 4 node VMware cluster with shared storage technology included. So that's all included in this 2U platform, and if you need to expand out your environment, you can buy another one of these boxes and stack them up and actually expand out your environment. Now this is definitely a turnkey solution, so you just get it rack and stacked, and you actually run HP OneView InstantOn to be able to create this environment, and this environment will create in about 5 to 15 minutes. And after that, you'll manage this infrastructure with vCenter as well as the HP plugin for vCenter called OneView for vCenter. I'm going to demonstrate the OneView InstantOn aspect of this system for you. I won't be using a simulator. I'll actually be using the live environment, my live system environment. So I also plan, after we go through this process, to actually show you where you left off within the vCenter environment and show you what you can expect as a part of this configuration. So with that being said, let's explore this environment. Okay, so let's go through the InstantOn process of our ConvergedSystem 250HC. So as a part of the process, what they have you do is take the Ethernet connection from your laptop or your desktop and directly plug it into node 1 within the Converged system. And then once you do that, what they tell you to do is take your Ethernet connection and set it for this IP address. 99, and that subnet mask, and then you just click OK. Right. So the reason why they have you do this, because on node 1 there's actually a virtual machine running within that environment already, and it's actually going to be the management virtual machine. Right, so per the instructions, the next thing you're actually going to do is remote desktop into that machine itself. So there's the IP address of that virtual machine. We'll connect into it. And you can see we're at the Windows Server 2012 desktop. We can already see that we have some important utilities installed. Right. This will become our management system after the InstantOn process has completed. And this will also run your vCenter server. Right, so this right now exists on local storage on node 1, but after we are complete creating this 4-node VMware cluster, it's actually going to take this virtual machine and migrate into the shared storage technology found within StoreVirtual. So that being said, let's look at the desktop. We can actually see a couple pop-ups. First one is the Everyday Server Manager from Microsoft, but we also see the InstantOn process listed here. So let's go through this. First thing you need to do is need to accept these agreements. Then click Next. And then it's going to discover our local vCenter settings. Now, the nice thing about this is I don't need to sit here and wait for this to happen. Right, I can actually move through this installation process. I have already pre-populated this system with my license because I didn't necessarily want to expose my key to you. But once it's done, we can complete. But we don't need to wait here. What we're going to do is move forward. So I'm going to click Next. Right. You can see we got a little red dot, so we didn't wait there, but it'll turn green in a little bit. Over here we got the health status of our ConvergedSystem 250HC. You can see we've got all 4 nodes are green. So we're ready to move on past this. So let's click Next again. Next, we got to set up some IP addresses for this environment. So again, this is a fully functional VMware vCenter vSphere cluster with 4 nodes, as well as the shared storage technology. And the shared storage is provided through StoreVirtual technology. So it's a software-defined storage mechanism that provides you all the high availability that you would require within the environment. Now, for the IP addresses, there is definitely a working document that you need to go through, and it kind of lays out the type of IP addresses that you're going to need. And they're going to be continuous spaces of IP addresses. For example, we could do 192.168.80.120, and it'll move all the way up to 124. And again, we'll put in our subnet mask. And then our gateway. Right, and then we want to set up our vMotion IP addresses. And we're going to use 87, 121, all the way up to 124, and again a subnet. Now you could leave this all on the same VLAN if you wanted to. The documentation does list that out. You can do it, or you can add VLANs in if you wanted to, and that's what I've done. I'm going to add some VLANs in. And now we need the IP addresses for our StoreVirtual environment. Right, so 116 up to 129. And we'll need the subnet, gateway, and then the optional VLAN ID. And then we'll click next. And now we need to get our credentials for our StoreVirtual instance. Again, this is our software-defined storage mechanism. We'll click next. Then our settings. So certainly we want to set up a DNS server for name resolution. Time. Mail settings. So I'm just going to use an address. I don't actually have a mail server set up here. And we'll move forward. And then we get to review our configuration. So go through, make sure everything's set up, because once you're happy with the settings, you click deploy. It's going to go run through. It's going to set up your entire VMware clustered environment with these settings. So you want to make sure that everything is correct. If you notice also, our vCenter section went to green. So if you remember this section, so everything's all set here. All right, so review your configuration, and then click deploy, and then we're off. You can see it's going to take about 9 minutes for this to deploy. I'm not going to have you guys sit through and watch this kind of tick away. If you want to keep track of the time, I just recommend looking down here at the settings for the time down here. I am going to fast forward a little bit. Some of the things I'm going to show you a little bit. If I expand details, we can actually see what is being configured within this environment. All right, so with that being said, let's kind of let this run its course. Okay, the installation process or the deployment process of our ConvergedSystem 250 HC has completed. Before we look at this next steps section, let's actually look at the deployment section as well. And we could see that the deployment install has finished, and we can also see everything that's been completed on our behalf as far as setting up this highly available VMware cluster. All right, so a whole bunch of things set up. All right, so within next steps, we've got to license our StoreVirtual VSA. That's our software-defined storage product within this environment. We can manage that software-defined storage platform through this link. And we could remotely manage our converged system through these IP addresses. Right? And that's, again, this system here. So, for example, I could disconnect here. All right. And then go into our networking properties. And obtain an IP address. Then I could actually remote into the system without using that special network anymore. So 80.120. And again, you can see we're still at the same desktop. Now I notice what it's the system from after the deployment process tends to be a little bit more sluggish, and that's mainly because the system that we're logging to, this virtual machine in the background, is actually being migrated from local storage on node 1 into the shared storage platform, the StoreVirtual shared storage platform, and you'll see that in a little bit. You notice we would get a certificate error because it's a newly installed system and we haven't installed a certificate. Let's continue on past this. And here we are at the vSphere vCenter landing page. All right, so let's log in with our default username provided by the documentation, as well as the default password. All right, so this is where we're dropped off within the vSphere web client. You can see that the relocation of the virtual machine has happened. And again, this is that management machine I said that was migrated from the local system into the virtualized environment. Down here we've got a health status, and if we explored that a little bit, you'd see that it's just being populated because the email address that I put in wasn't necessarily correct. And it's going to be important for you to put in the correct email address, mainly because if there's any faults within the StoreVirtual shared storage environment, you want to get those emails and those notifications if something bad has happened. And that's mainly what that mechanism is for. Right, so with that being said, let's look at the home section. You can see that the plugin is installed, so one view for vCenter is pre-populated, and we can tell that because we have these two icons. If you want to know a little bit more about one view for vCenter, I do have a video that I created last time around that might you might be interested in. So now let's go inside hosting clusters. Right, we can see our data center. We can see our cluster. If we expand that out, we can see all 4 of our ESX nodes within our cluster. This is the management machine itself, so that's what I'm connected to here. And these are each one of our StoreVirtual VSAs. And the way the shared storage technology works, and I don't want to get into an in-depth primer, but basically what it does is if it has a bit of data on one of these nodes, it copies it to a second one of these nodes. And each one of these StoreVirtual VSAs exists on each one of the ESX servers. Now, one of the things that I noticed being a VMware administrator, we've got these exclamation marks here. So I want to explore those and see why we're getting those. So I'm going to click on the first system, and then I'm going to click on summary. And we can see the messages that we're getting is the ESXi shell for the host has been enabled, as well as the SSH shell has been enabled. So a security practice might be to disable that if you wanted to. A normal ESX install will leave those disabled, but inside our converged system, they have enabled them. So a lot of people like to have that enabled. Some people don't like to have that as part of their security practice. All you need to do is really suppress the warning. And you'll just need to do that in each one of the systems, or turn off the shells. Again, suppress the warning. Go over to the third system. Again, suppress the warning. And then finally, the last system here. And again, we'll go and suppress the warning. So another message that we're seeing as a part of the error process is, and it'll populate again, is the number of vSphere HA heartbeats data stores for this host is 1, which is less than the required, which is 2. So a VMware environment, in order to maintain heartbeats or availability of each of the ESX nodes, likes to have 2 VMFS volumes, or 2 data stores within the environment in order to be able to double check the heartbeats that are happening. And if we look at the storage that's been configured within our infrastructure, we can see that we've got, if you've done VMware long enough, you realize that this is the the number they give for the local storage, but then we have this one shared storage. And this is actually where our management machine lives, and it was migrated into. So we need a few more data stores, or we need one more data store in order to make this a highly available environment. So if we go back to host and clusters, we could actually go into the StoreVirtual platform and actually create that extra data center. But there's actually a mechanism within vCenter to be able to do that. Well, vCenter with the OneView for vCenter plugin. So if I go up to the cluster itself and I look under Actions, and under HP Management Actions, you'll see HP Create Data Store. So we'll click on that. You can see we selected our data store. So once we select this data store, it will be applied to all these storage nodes, or all these, all these ESX nodes, and they'll be able to see that storage. So we'll click Next. And it's going to ask us what our storage is, where we want to place this on, and we're going to put it on our StoreVirtual. That's our software-defined storage nodes. And just for one, we'll create 2 data stores, and we'll make them 1 terabyte each. We'll use 2 terabytes of space. And then we select our network RAID, and basically that was, like I said, network RAID is, if I put one data bit on this VSA, there'll be a copy of it on another VSA somewhere in the environment. And that's the way they do redundancy. And they offer different ways to be able to provide that redundancy. All right, so the most popular definitely is network RAID 10, so we'll select that and move forward. Right. And we could change the name of our data stores as well. So why don't we just call these Demo for our environment, and it'll name the first data store Demo 1 and the second data store Demo 2. We'll click Next. Now you can see we have question marks while it validates everything, but in a little bit we'll get green check marks and we'll be able to move forward. All right, now we've got green check marks, so let's click Next and then Finish. And then our system is off to the races, applying new storage. And over here in Recent Tasks, we'll start to see some interesting thing happen as this storage is created. All right, so we're starting to see a rescan of the HBAs within the environment. We're starting to see the VMFS data stores being created. So the first one's created. Remember, we created 2 of them, and there's the second one now. So at this point, we should be able to see the data store has been created. So if we go over here, you can see it's not showing up here, but a quick refresh, and we should see there's our Demo 1 as well as our Demo 2. So let's go back to the host and clusters view. We can see the exclamation points are still showing up there, and we're still getting that message. But if you're a seasoned VMware administrator, you know that this can be easily solved by restarting HA on the system. So we're doing a reconfigure for HA. We'll click on that. And I actually had to only do it on one node, and all the other nodes will correct themselves, if you notice. So when this completes, it'll actually correct itself. Now there may be some other things that you may want to go through as far as the deployment process is concerned. You might want to set up some DNS settings, maybe join this management system to your Active Directory cluster or whatnot. But for the most part, once this is complete, we'll have pretty much a fully functioning VMware environment in our infrastructure. And if you notice, all the exclamation points have gone. So I ask you, with this InstantOn process, it's very quickly to be able to bring up a VMware environment. And what I want to ask you is, think about it. How long would it take you to actually set up a 4-node VMware cluster with vCenter as well as the shared storage in the environment? And we've done this in a matter of minutes within our infrastructure. So I hope you've gained a lot out of this video, and please stay tuned for more videos.